Welcome back to Chasing the Wild Wonder. This is our Airstream renovation and we are prepping the subfloor to get installed. So we're gonna make our cuts, get it all fitted, and then we're gonna seal the wood with some marine epoxy so that it doesn't get water damage and rot out like the last one did. Yeah, and then we're gonna install it. So let's get to it.
The Rivet Driller, right? Rivet removal tool. It helps guide you when you're drilling out the rivets, which is really great. I wish we would have had this from the beginning, but we didn't. But it's super easy. You have a place to hold here, you just drill through and it pops it right out. It's awesome. So you have to obviously find the size of the rivet, put that on there, just to help guide you. You hold firmly here and you just go to town.
Pops right out.
Pops right out, watch. Well, they usually come out a little bit, but it's fine. The rivet head fits in here. Drill and it will pop out just enough to pop out that rivet so you're not pushing all the way through. And then it helps keep it centered. Otherwise, what was happening last time, every time we would drill a rivet, if you were not right on it, it would slip, which could create a bigger hole. We don't want bigger holes for the rivets because we don't want water getting into our freaking Airstream. Ben was wrong. I mean, which kind of makes me a little happy. Just kidding. He was using a 3/16 drill to drill out these rivets, and it's actually a 5/32. I mean, he just needed to ask me.
As you can see, I've got that front C-channel curve mounted up on here, and I'm gonna scribe it out, kind of trace it, and then I've got a jigsaw that I'm gonna run through and cut, and then we're gonna fit it inside the C-channel, see if it fits, hopefully, and if not, then we'll have to trim off, sand down some edges. Gonna get started. I'm just gonna trace it out, start cutting. Fits. All right, so we went over there to fit it in. It was too wide and it wasn't lining up with all the holes. So what we had to do basically is we realized that the C-channel had expanded after we took it out just a little bit too wide, about an inch. So got it in there, measured it, make sure it lined up with the holes by putting screwdrivers in all the holes and bending it back into shape. And it actually, the end to end actually ended up being an inch shorter than what we had cut it. So I'm gonna mark it again, gonna cut it again, see if we can get it to fit even better and then fit into the floor. Day 2 of trying to cut the subfloor. We've not got anything sealed yet because, well, it took a long time to try to figure out what the heck we were doing. You know, we got it in there, we thought it looked right. We realized the first time we cut it, it was too wide. But last night, I realized that as we were putting each board in, each of those boards was deviating a little bit. And so I realized that this piece was probably not square. The starting piece was not square. And so this morning I measured it, and sure enough, I got 15 inches from one end, and then 15 and 1/8 on the other end. What I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna shave 1/8 of an inch off all the way around on the side that is 1/8 of an inch longer, and see if I can pull that in and get it so that it's 15 inches on both sides, and that way it's squared up, so that way when it sits in there, it's sitting in there straight. And then we'll have to go back, of course, and start all over in getting our measurements and everything. But this way, at least we know we're right. It's kind of, I mean, that's just part of the process, right? Is figuring out what you're doing. I've never done anything like this really before, and I don't have half of the C-channel pieces because, well, I have the old ones, but I'm getting half of them. I'm getting new, and I don't have them yet because of everything just taking way longer these days because people aren't working in the factory and whatnot. So hopefully we will have the new C-channel next weekend. We're gonna have to go down to Salt Lake and get it, but until then, I need to get these plywood boards sealed up, waterproofed, before the temperature drops. And it is dropping this weekend to below 40 degrees. And so I don't know if it's gonna warm back up again enough to get this done. So we are just kind of rushing to get it done, and that's part of the problem. You know, you're rushing and stressed, and
babe, you're welcome. I am helpful a little bit. What I've learned with an Airstream: teamwork makes the dream work.
all right, we got all the pieces of the subfloor cut. There it is, right there. So what we ended up doing, I just wanted to quickly tell you, it's been such a crazy process that I didn't really have the brain capacity to film it along the way. So I'm doing as much as I can for this one. Having a pressure put on you of rushing to get this done does not help. You know, we got snow coming, temperatures are about to drop this weekend, so trying to get this epoxied before that happens has been a nightmare. But we're getting it done. We're there. So I got it all squared up, and then I finally got a measurement from somebody that was kind of like, hey, this is what it's been. 91.5 inches for the width of the plywood, and that seems to work. That gives us about 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 inch overhang over the outriggers. Give us enough wiggle room and play with the C-channel to be able to get the shell on there. It's getting windy and the shell is not fully secured and it has shifted all over the place, so I'm just praying that nothing happens. We took the front piece of plywood that already had the curvature cut, and we just used that as a template to cut the last piece. The last piece is only 3 feet long because the trailer is only 27 feet or so. So 91.5 inches for the width of the trailer, the width of your plywood. And yeah, the rest should fall in place. Big thing though is if you want to make sure that if you're starting with the front, make sure you're square, because if you're not square there, it's just going to cascade all the way down the trailer and eventually just going to be way off. So the other thing we did was, you know, we had to cut out the wheel wells, we had to cut holes for the plumbing, for the freshwater tank and the gray water tank. Super excited to have this done. Now we just need to bust our butts and get this all cured, or get this all epoxied. It's going to be a long process, but yeah, gotta get it done. Hopefully our shell doesn't fall over in the meantime.